Hey guys, my name is Daniel, founder of Tiny Rig, and today we're going to walk you guys through this F-250 Super Duty we just wrapped up. We've got a camper on it, roof rack, just a little bit of electrical, and I want to walk you guys through because this is actually the first Super Duty walkthrough that we've done on our channel. There's a lot of other videos where we walk through different vehicles. Almost all of those things will apply to this vehicle as well. So if you're looking for a build that's got more done to it than this, a more complete electrical system, a fireplace, all different types of stuff that is available for this camper. Check out those other videos, but let's jump into this one. So up top, this is something that we do with almost every camper build we do. The idea behind it is to basically add aero to the vehicle. We've found significant improvements in fuel economy with adding a roof rack. Just that fairing helps get that wind up above the camper. It helps reduce cabin noise, but also it's a good place to add some extra storage up top, obviously. Now, one thing this vehicle does not have is the table slide that goes up top. That is something that would probably not clear. Now, this truck has very little bed flex as it relates to the cab. And so if it is really tight, I'm not too concerned about it making contact. It is super close though. A little background on the camper, right? So Alu Cab is a company that's been around for about 30 years. And they've been making aluminum canopies or truck toppers for that entire time. The founder was in the trades in South Africa, a plumber, and he wanted something lighter weight, built better. And so he made it for himself, solving his own problem, and ended up making one of the highest quality campers and products that are out there. So our shop is known for doing very, very high quality work. I put a camper on my Tacoma before I owned Tiny Rig, before I started the shop, and loved it so much. Nobody was selling them around here that I just started to do it. Decided to open the shop and do it myself. So as far as quality goes, there really isn't anything better out there. As far as durability goes, all the accessories that are available, the function of it. The camper on this particular truck is probably going to be around 550, somewhere between 550 and 600 pounds. Now, there's a lot of accessories that we can add to it, which can increase that weight, but this truck is going to have no issue payload-wise with anything we throw at it. So no adjustments made to suspension on this at all. It's completely stock. It is the Tremor version. But diving into the details of the camper. So the entire perimeter of this camper is made with Alu Cab's load bar. It's their extrusion. It's very lightweight, but also extremely strong. So if you're familiar with the overland space, you've seen load bars that are like on the Sherpa rack up there. Standard like 80-20 style extrusions. Front Runner has their own. Alu Cab of all of those has the least amount of deflection. It's stronger than hell. And so the whole entire frame of this, it's all welded. It's sealed in any place where there's joints and seams. And so what you're gonna find is that this camper is gonna be way more refined than the typical truck bed style camper that you may already be familiar with. Now, one of the things that sets us apart as far as our install, and other shops have started to try to replicate it, is our advanced seal. And so essentially what we're doing is we are sealing any areas where dust or water can get inside of the camper. We pull everything outside, we do light leak tests. This bed in particular, because it's our first Super Duty, we really spent a lot of time and we took a couple stabs at it, right? So it's really important to us that if you're gonna have a beautiful truck like this, spend the money on a beautiful camper to have that installation reflect the quality of both the vehicle and the camper. And then you also want to make sure that your camping experience, you're not adding something to your vehicle and having the product take away from the experience, right? Or the expectations. So we're really, really thorough with how we install these things. The doors on this, large pop-up gull wings that latch and lock. All the locks on the camper are going to be matched. The hinge up top is a drip hinge. Basically, it's going to prevent dripping from inside, and it's going to route water. All of the door frames have these sections that kick out to prevent water from going in the camper when you wash it, right? So it's just the attention to detail and the thoughtfulness of this design is based on 30 years of true engineering. Whereas you'll see a lot of the lower cost units do not necessarily have that. In addition to that, little kickback that's right there. You've got a bulb seal all along the perimeter. So these campers actually do a really, really good job of keeping moisture out. You do have a choice. If you don't want a sliding glass window to do a solid door, it's a little more secure, a little more private. However, if you are looking for privacy, you do have canvas that can be added. This is an add-on here. It's a screen kit. They refer to it as the Mozzie nets. We bolt those on, rivet those on, and secure those so that you never need to worry about the Velcro coming loose, which is like the standard installation practice. So you've got a layer of screen mesh. If it's bad weather out or it's super, super windy, it's actually really nice. Kick everything open, pull the screens down. It limits the amount of wind that's going inside the camper, but you're not in that bad weather. Really nice option. Also, we've got a National Luna touch light. So those lights come standard. That's actually one of our favorite lights, period, whether it's in a camper or not. You have a couple different functions. You've got a red and a white LED. And it's also dimmable. So you can go low, medium, and high on either red or white. Now, red's really nice because it helps maintain your night vision. It also doesn't attract bugs. So roll up to camp, set everything up, set your lights to red, just leave them on because they pull no power. Go do your campfire thing, come back, start cooking, and you're not gonna have a bunch of bugs flying around inside the camper. That's real world use and experience, but you get one of those lights on both side doors. You get it on the rear door, which I'll show you in a moment, one on the bottom of the sleeping platform, and then one at the top of the tent, which we'll dive into. If you have a 5.5-foot bed, which you won't with the Super Duty, but obviously there's available for other vehicles, this section basically gets removed, and so it just ends at this load bar. This section, there's options for a molly plate that you can add to it, and then also because everything is made with extrusion, you've got these channels to slide M8 hardware in. On the note of the hardware, every piece of hardware that's going to get used in this camper is stainless. Any nut that is exposed and not in a track is going to have a nylock on it. What that's going to do is make sure that nothing comes loose over time while you beat the crap out of it off-road and camping. So again, every little detail matters with this. Moving along the back, we've got, actually, let's just touch on kind of the uniqueness of Alu Cab. So I'm going to close this door. And the big thing to call out here is that there is no tailgate on this truck anymore. So we remove that and basically we box in the entire camper. And so now you have this single unit. And what that does for you is it makes the entry way easier, but it also seals the sections that are typically exposed with a lot of other truck campers. So we do sealant in all of these seams. And again, light leak test it, water test it. We do all that to make sure that the only dust inside your camper is from you climbing in and out at camp, not on your way to camp or driving around on the trails. Makes a significant difference. Several of our employees here had other campers that didn't have this, and now they have it, I have it, and actually threw a different camper on my truck for a short period of time, and my bed was hammered. So it's something that you kind of don't appreciate until you have it, and then once you don't have it, you miss it. So as far as this door goes, you can mount up to a 35-inch tire on it. We have fit some 37s on it, small ones like a BFG. Sometimes you need to offset it, do some funky stuff with it. But I would say just from a use case, right, 37 fits under this truck, keep it underneath it. If you have a different truck, 35 is great on the door. Molly plates, so some bird junk on there. Apologies about that, we'll clean that. We typically mount a propane tank to this side. And then this side, usually on a lot of the bigger builds, ends up having a fireplace. We've got, again, clips of this stuff we can throw in here so you guys can see that stuff, but just a lot of modularity in this camper. Over here to the left is a water spigot. So inside the camper is a 13-gallon water tank that Alu Cab makes. It is proprietary and specific to Alu Cab campers. It's baffled. It has a large fill port. It has a breather. So it's done correct. And then if you want to use it, it's as simple as that. No water pump. It always works. It's a really nice option. A lot of times we'll add shore power over here as well if you have an electrical setup where you need to charge because the vehicle gets parked inside. Door mechanism. So this is a common question we get. How does this work? So it's kind of like a container. You can't get locked in if you're the one that closes it from inside. These little pins right here get stuck like that. So if I close this and latch it, I can still open it, right? So the locking is done from the inside. If you are cruising around and, let's say you're ready to close up, it's as simple as that. There's tension on this handle, and then you can throw a padlock or combo lock through that. To unlock it or open it, same thing, right? You can do a one-handed operation by adding load to this so that you can rotate it. Otherwise, my normal practice is grab it like this, rotate it all the way, and do that. The door also, you get rid of the tailgate, which is where everyone cooks. We have accessories for the rear door. A large drop-down table is probably the most common accessory that's out there. In this particular case, we've got a molly plate here, which will allow you to hang some bags, your cooking stuff. And then also you guys can see this deadbolt kit. So that's actually tied to the factory key fob. And Noah, if you want to show over here the manual function of it, when I hit my key fob, I can lock and unlock it, right? And I don't have that key fob here to show you guys, but you also have a manual fail-safe in the back. Not required, doesn't come standard. It is an add-on. The molly plate's an add-on. A lot of these are accessories that are going to be add-ons. But also rear door screen kit. This is one of the ones that I always recommend starting with. Same as the sides, but for the rear door where you enter and exit more frequently. So at camp, I'll open all my side doors as soon as I get there, zip everything up so that I have the screens going. And then the rear door, I just drop everything down like this. So there's my screens. And there's my canvas. And so what I'll do is I'll just leave this down in most cases and just push it open to get things out, right? I cook off my back door. I want to reach into a drawer or something over here, grab it. I just do that. And that alone is typically enough to keep most bugs out. What we'll do now is let's jump inside so I can show you guys the amount of space that's in here, how the bed functions and whatnot. Now, keep in mind, I just climbed into the truck, right? Normally I'd be going over a tailgate. Let me roll this up. I'll show you guys kind of how that works. My normal practice is just to do like a big fold and then start rolling. So Noah, let's jump up in here and we'll show them what we got going on. All right, so again, thoughtfulness of the camper. Over here, we refer to it as the gutter at the shop. So essentially you've got fabric that velcros on and covers a big pathway for wiring to be run. And so from the factory, from Alu Cab, a lot of it is already pre-wired. Now we do our own thing here to clean up the wiring and make it even tidier. But all that wiring gets to hide behind here. You also have a stock light that will come through the zippered pocket. This is a reading light, so it's flexible, turn it off and on up there. Really nice option to have. That comes standard. You have old school USB and a USB-C. And so you have that on both sides, right? And so when you're up in bed, you actually have a place to charge your phone. What I do is I leave those cables up here full time in place so that when I'm climbing up in bed, I know that I've already got the charger up there. I don't need to worry about looking for that cable before I go to bed. And then to re-secure this stuff, it's Velcro. So obviously you just put it back in place. But it's serviceable, right? Which is really nice. So now that when you're in bed, unzip, you have your light. So that is, again, standard. It does need to be wired. Also, tent fabric. So that's one thing that if you were to come up to me at a trade show and tell me you're looking at an Alu Cab, I always tell folks, go feel the canvas of the other campers. When you feel Alu Cab canvas, you can tell that there's a significant difference. It's also double layered. So not only is the canvas thicker, more durable, you have 2 layers of it throughout the camper. So better insulation, more durability. And for context, I have pressure washed my camper, my tent open, 2-gallon per minute, I believe, pressure washer. That sounds low. So, but strong pressure washer, and no issues with it. Also, you have canvas and you've got screens. So in my particular vehicle, I always keep the screen up year round. There's really never a time where I feel like I need the window open, unless it's crazy hot. But you've got that full-time screen that's up there. And again, very durable material. And then when it's cold, you've got the canvas to store this stuff. Again, I start with a bigger fold and I roll it and I lock it in place like that. And so obviously you guys can find your own way that you like doing these things. But I guess the point is that it is super dialed. That water tank again, right here. Here's that breather. Here's the fill port. You have an additional exit here if you did want to add a water pump. The gravity feed is over there. But again, everything's bolted in place, all stainless brackets, tons of hardware. All of these are nylocks. Just again, really, really well done. Sleep platform. So this is something that Alu Cab separates itself from a lot of other campers that are out there. So this is obviously a small portion of the bed. This section is large enough for a good size adult to be able to fold up and still climb up and down the bed. So the bed works like this on the other side. The angle that we're at right now, we'll change up the angle in a bit, but essentially you have gas struts. So you got one over here, and that gas strut lifts this so that you can keep, let's say your pillows are here. You just go like that. When it's time to get into bed, so you have Noah can step over here, you just pull the bed down. Right? And now you have a really large sleeping area. So easily, very comfortably sleeps 2 adults. There is a family that I'm aware of that's smaller, and we'll call it height and width, and they sleep up here with both parents and 2 kiddos. You've also got pockets. So those 6 pockets there, great place to put your keys at the end of the night, your wallet, things you want to have handy up there. My personal camper, I'll leave book up there sometimes. Just again, a lot of other tents have that. That's not that big of a deal, but it is nice that it is up there. And then there's that last light that's also at the top. If you are watching this video and you're familiar with Alu Cab, you'll notice that the headliner in this one is different. So all of the headliners moving forward are moving to this same setup. It's really clean, doesn't show dirt as much as the old setups do, and it actually is more serviceable as well. So there is options up here. There's a drop table that we can install by those pockets. It covers the pockets up when it is closed up, but it'll drop down. You can set an iPad on it, watch a movie. And then also there is a backrest that you can use up here. And so if you ever park on an uneven surface, you have the ability to kind of even out without moving the truck at all. But I want you to keep in mind, right? If you have, or you're shopping for a camper and you're looking at the different options out there, really weigh in or take into consideration the fact that this bed is one piece, and all I do is push it up when it's time to get it out of the way. Now, if you have bedding that you want to leave inside the camper, there's plenty of room for it, but your bed stays made, and that's huge, right? We get these rooftop tents and whatnot for comfort and convenience, and a lot of times it is convenient and nice to not be on the ground. But if you have one of those systems that have tiles and you're moving tiles around, you can't leave your bed made all the time, right? So if you have another camper and you've done this before, if you got a rooftop tent and you've done this before, you know that typically one person goes up, they set the bed up, they make the bed, and then the other person climbs up and you hand each other the tile, or you pull the comforter over so they can climb up. In this case, it's like getting a normal bed. Normally there's, I don't want to say normally, but a lot of times in our builds, you have storage systems on the side, and that's your step to climb up. If you don't, you can use a 12-volt fridge, use that to climb up. We've seen some customers do a step back here. You could also use this as a step right here. Lots of different options. I think that's about it, guys. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. We do a lot of builds for people that are also out of the state of California. So if you're watching this video and just looking for the best possible installation for a camper on your vehicle, looking for a team that's going to answer all your questions, genuinely doesn't show bias and just tries to provide amazing customer service and amazing installs, amazing products, we can help you and take a lot of pride in what we do. We really love what we do. So if you are local, stop by the shop, see what we do. Even if you're not buying a camper, but you're into the off-roading, overlanding, see the type of work we're doing. It's typically surprising folks, the level of detail that we go through and how well done this stuff is. So appreciate you guys watching, appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys in the next one.